Okay. Sorry I didn't hop on earlier. Been busy, just got back not too long ago. So this gap theory, all right, we had price come all the way down here, and then I measured out this gap right here. So we had a swing high to the first swing low. And what did price do? It keeps filling 50% of the gaps, except for this one. It didn't fill 50% of the gap on the way up. All right. And what does it do? It comes back up and it taps 50% of this gap that 50% had not been tapped. And so as I watch it reject the 50% here, I fib this first leg down. All right. And it's kind of hard to see, but it's basically this low and this first high. All right. We get the respect of the retracement. We don't close above this range. We accumulate. We create the first leg down. I measure the first leg. Want to see price come back up, respects 50% of this range. Okay. And now this range, I want to see price dive to 50%. And so far, we got that happening. Um, Pretty stoked on the averaging up. All right. And as ranges are made, I'm going to, I'm going to pull some off right here. Actually, let's see if we can just full pull this. Let me take half. Since we held this one right here, we'll see how price reacts. But we'll buy half. All right. And I'd like to see price jam to 50% of this range as needed. Okay, so as I saw 50% respected of this range, okay, let's lighten this up a little bit. Let's darken this up so you can see it a little bit better. Okay, I'm gonna take off this for a hot second. All right, darken that up, lighten that up. All right, we got the fib setting. Okay, we just created a new range. So possibly. Okay, if this sets a low, then we're looking at 50% again. I'd like to see this just go ahead and hit 50% that was needed for this range. And you can see that I took the low here. Notice this range over here, low, high, 50% doesn't happen. So it comes all the way up here, comes all the way back down to tag 50% and then continues. So we got gaps that are, I'm sorry, we got ranges that when it doesn't leave a 50%, that's a clue that it needs to come back and at least tag 50% of that. And this is the new theory that I'm working on. Boom, 50% tagged of a range that didn't have it after tagging 50% of this range. All right, let's see. So use the what do we get on that? Account summary, nice, a little over 4,000. Take that. So I'm gonna be diving more into this because sometimes it's hard to tell when it's gonna happen, but because order flow is bearish and we came back up and we rejected this, and then after putting in the confirming the rejection and putting in the fib and we held, um, for me this was the next area where price needed to go to fill the 50% range, 50%, at least 50% of the range because it hadn't been tapped yet. But I will dive into that further. All right. Thanks guys. Hope I know this was quick, down and dirty, but I've been diving into this and it's pretty freaking cool to give some targets. So, all right, catch you later.